Yo, what is going on, guys? Xtimus here. So today we're going to be playing the secret paladin build. So I made this build quite a long time ago, and it got 100,000 views, and it was like one of the most craziest builds that I've ever seen in Diablo 2. It was inspired by someone else's build on D2JSP, and then I just became so obsessed with it. It's just like my favorite build in the game. So we're going to be using a bugged Taurashas on this build, and I definitely have like a lot of other bugged items as well, like an Oculus ring and things like that. So this is definitely my favorite build in Diablo 2, and it's my favorite because I really like casting spells on striking. I think it's just a really cool way to play the game, and it's just there's so many different versions of this build that I can make. Like even when I was doing this video, I was like, I don't know how to showcase this build because there's just like 10 different ways to play it, because when you have a conviction paladin, there's just so many different spells that you could use. So you could use like a rift rune word and have frozen orb on striking, or you could use like a Trang Owl set and use firewall, because the firewall from the Trang Owl set surprisingly does like a ton of damage. So but with this build here specifically, mainly I just went for a full frozen orb build. So it's a paladin that can cast frozen orbs with a bugged Taurashas armor on it. Also the mercenary as well uses frozen orbs, and that's from the rift rune word. Super cool build, guys. It's definitely like a theory craft thing again. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for the video, and let's just get into it. Alright, so starting off right here, we have the Rift Rune Word, and this is really good because it has a 16% chance to cast a level 21 Frozen Orb on attack. Now this is really good on attack because basically what that means is every time I swing my weapon, there's a chance I could cast a Frozen Orb, where if it's on striking, that means you literally need to land an attack on the monster for the spell to be casted. Definitely really high level rune, or really high level Frozen Orbs right there. And I've definitely tried a few other rune words as well. I forget the name of the other one that does a lower level frozen orb, and then it has some negative cold resistance there to monsters. But this one's still a lot better, and Rift is definitely the best frozen orb on striking weapon in the game for sure. And it has 3 conviction and 3 fist of heavens on it, so you could get a scepter like this in the real game. That would just be extremely rare though, and this would be worth a lot. So but Rift is basically like the main source of what makes this build possible. And then same thing with the mercenary. The mercenary is going to be using Rift as well, and we have it in a giant Thresher, and that's because giant Threshers have faster attack speed. So you know, the more hits you're getting on monsters, the more frozen orbs you're gonna get. However, the thing is, like, this is really just kind of like a build for fun, so there are like gonna be some pretty big cons to this build. So I'm not like, it's the same thing with the bow paladin I just did. I'm not saying that like you guys should absolutely play the build. It's just for me personally, you know, as I said before, I just really like to experiment with builds, and you know, I'm really willing to have some cons to a build to be able to do something different besides playing a sorceress or a Hammerden or something like that. So, and then moving on, we have the Nightwing's helmet. So this is really good, obviously, for frozen orbs. And then I have a bugged Taurashas from classic Diablo 2. Obviously, you cannot get this in the real game. You used to be able to get it, and it probably would have been duped. And I know a lot of people will probably criticize me for using it. However, you know, the build will still be effective. You don't have to use this for the build to be good. And I put teleport on it just so I can move around quicker for the video. You know, I just really like to experiment with things and mess around with builds, and I do get criticized for that a lot. And the thing is, I really think that they should probably just put this in the game. I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, that'd be really cool to have this in the game, and maybe have the possibility of like a different version of Taurash's armor to drop. And they could definitely do something like that, and maybe make it like a 1 out of 15 chance for it to spawn a bugged Taurash's. So, and I really like things like this, and the bugged Taurash's armor I think is is like whoever created it, I think that they did a really good job of kind of coming up with sort of like a new item in the game. So I definitely don't think that if this was a real item in the game, I definitely don't think that it would be something that would absolutely break the game or anything like that. So, and it's a really cool piece of history in Diablo 2, and it's just kind of fun to kind of test out different builds and test things that were actually online on Battle.net back in the day. So, you know, I think it's just one of those things that's really cool to have. And like I said, you definitely can't get this on Battle.net or anything like that. So, and then I'm using Highlords Wrath, so, you know, pretty basic melee amulet there. And then I was trying to make some good decisions here with the shield. I really wanted to try to max out the frozen orb damage the most, so I just decided to put, you know, 4 cold jewels in there just to get some more frozen orb damage going there. And then I'm using Gore Riders, pretty obvious. And then I'm using Arachnid, pretty obvious. The plus to all skills is really going to help. I didn't mention that before. So I am using a Fist of Heaven's hybrid, so there's going to be mainly frozen orbs. However, I can also use Fist of the Heavens. The thing is, the plus to all skills really helps as well, because that's going to help out the Fist of Heavens. So it definitely adds to that hybrid version of the build. So, and then I'm using Ravenfrost. You definitely have to have cannot be frozen when you're playing any melee character, or else you're just going to be moving around super slow. And then I'm using Dracs. So this is really important because obviously for the survivability, and I really wanted to max out the damage on my mercenary. So the thing is, my mercenary doesn't have any life leech, so he's going to be completely relying on life tap, and things get pretty difficult when you play the game that way. However, like I said, I mean, I just like to experiment and try different and new things. So, you know, I think it was just something that, you know, I wanted to try, and I didn't even think about that in the first place. So that's basically how my mercenary will survive. Now on Switch, I just have Call to Arms and Spirit. In my inventory, I have a few fire charms there. As I said before, you know, in the Bow Paladin video, the plus to elemental damage will definitely help out any conviction builds for sure. So, you know, having any kind of elemental charms are really good and definitely adds to your damage. And then I have an Anni and a Torch, and then some Paladin combat skill grand charms, and then a Cold Sunder and a Lightning Sunder. And then I have a Demon Limb as well, so this is really going to help out with just some extra attack rating there. So, you know, before I go into battle, I'll just buff myself just to get some more attack rating, and then buff my mercenary as well. I really see a lot of people not use Demon Limb very often for like melee builds, so it's definitely good to have it just like laying around, just so you can get some extra attack rating, because attack rating for any type of melee build is just really important. And then for the mercenary, like I said, I'm using Rift, and we have it in a giant Thresher, and as I said before, that's because we want to get as many attacks as possible, and giant Thresher has faster attack speed than the other pole arms that are in Diablo 2. And I have the Ormus robe. Definitely could have got something that would give the mercenary more survivability. He definitely dies really quickly. However, I just wanted to try to maximize the frozen orb damage as much as I could on this build, so that's why I gave him enormous robes. And then he has a Nightwing as well. So, and I've showcased this before in my Fist of the Heavens builds. I really think that this is a really good mercenary for any Fist of the Heavens builds. If you guys play him at all, I would probably make sure you get some kind of life leech or something like that. But those frozen orbs are really going to be doing a lot of damage because you have that conviction. So, but it's really cool. So, and then for the skill tree, it's a little bit complex here. So I put enough points into conviction to get 150 negative all resistances. It looks like I might have messed up a skill right there, and it's at 145. So I just put enough points into that to get 150 negative resistances. I put 20 points into Holy Shock because this is a synergy for Fist of the Heavens. I put 1 point into Blessed Aim. The reason for that is because I get 5% passive attack rating. Defensive skills, none. And then for my combat skills, I put 20 points into Zeal, 20 points into Fist of the Heavens, 20 points into Holy Bolt, and then I think I put the rest of my points into Holy Shield. And then for my attributes, I put enough points into Strength so I can equip the demon limb and get that extra enchant. And then I think I put some extra points into dexterity just because I was kind of lacking some attack rating there, and I definitely made sure to put enough points into dexterity to get max block with battle orders and battle command casted. So usually I always make sure I have battle orders and battle command casted, and then I'll cast Holy Shield, and then I'll go and put the points into dexterity when all of those have been casted, so then I'm not wasting any points. So I'll just put enough points into dexterity until I get 75% while all of those are casted. And then energy none, and the rest of my points into vitality. All right, so let's just get into some gameplay right here. So really, if you guys try out this build, it's really not going to be super effective in certain areas. So if you go to somewhere like Chaos Sanctuary, it's just not going to work very well because the survivability is kind of all over the place, and you're having to just really take a lot of risks. I mean, a lot of it kind of just depends on, there's my mercenary starting shit again. So, okay. All right, let's get them. All right, so where was I? So yeah, basically there's going to be a lot of risk involved because you really have to rely on life tap, and it's just not always going to happen all the time. So especially with the RNG, there's a lot of RNG surrounded around certain things in the game, like trying to get life tap using Dracs. You know, it's just a 5% chance, and it will definitely happen. And there goes my mercenary. Why are you... Dude, we're trying to record a YouTube video here. And so there's just going to be certain things like that in Diablo 2 where there's just like a chance that everything isn't going to go so well. All right, let's go over here and get my mercenary, and I don't have enough gold. Great. And you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to sell a T-Rail's Might to the merchant. It's just on single player, so I can just spawn whatever I want, and I'm just selling it to the merchant because I need gold to get my mercenary back because he just wants to start problems. Alright, so trying to show you guys right here how to play the build really quick if you guys even try it. So basically, on my left I have Zeal. On my right, I always have Conviction unless I'm teleporting around, and you always want to have Conviction on the right, and then Zeal on the left, and then on F2 I have Fist of the Heavens. So, and then I just go ahead and I buff up myself and my mercenary with enchant. And one of the things that I do is basically when I first start getting into battle, I'll just keep using Zeal until I get life tap, so then my mercenary doesn't die, and then I'll start using Fist of the Heavens. And one thing I wanted to mention to you guys before we start the gameplay is a lot of this really relies on RNG. So, you know, there's only a chance that Frozen Orb can be casted. So there's going to be like a lot of times where the damage isn't as good as I would like it to be. And it's just like one of those really cool things in Diablo 2, I think, that kind of adds RNG to builds and spell casting and things like that. So one of those just very special gameplay mechanics that I think makes Diablo 2 really special and such an amazing game. So, alright, let's just get into some gameplay, and we're going to be doing players 8 today. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay, and let's just get started. well, that's about it for the video, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this theory crafting Frozen Orb, Fist of the Heavens, Conviction Paladin. So I love you guys so much. If you guys are interested in Diablo 2 content, make sure you guys subscribe. And just make sure you guys hit the bell button as well, so that really helps out a lot. So just so you guys get like notified when I get my videos and everything like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys so much, and hope you guys have a great day. So bye.